Hi, I'm Phyllis, southernfrugal.com. Tonight we're going to mix up some dough for some bread we're actually going to make tomorrow. So this is going to be my own recipe, so I don't really know what to call it. How about pull-apart garlic bread? How about that? And I'm going to give you all the recipe. So what we have here is 1/2 cup of water that's around 110 degrees that I've dissolved 1 tablespoon of yeast in, and just by stirring it up, and of course it's foamed all up. I did add maybe a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar just to kind of feed that yeast a little bit. So we're going to dump that in a large bowl, get all of it out, and then to that we're going to add 1 cup of scalded milk. Now, I scald my milk by filling it up to the 1 cup level, put it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and it, of course, heats all up. It's going to form a little skim over the top. Now, you could also use powdered milk for this. So I'm going to dump that in with the yeast, and then I'm going to add, this is 1/2 cup of butter, and it's melted and cooled. It's just at room temperature now. I'm going to dump that in. See if I can get the rest of that out. And also going to add 2 eggs, and these are large eggs at room temperature, and I beat them up really good. They are large eggs. So I'm going to dump that in. And the last thing we're going to add is going to be 2 teaspoons of salt. Now, I'm going to put my flour in before I put this salt in. I don't know why I do that. I just do. Don't know why. All right, so we've got 4.5 cups of bread flour. So I'm just going to dump all that in right on top of the wet ingredients. Now I'm going to dump 2 teaspoons of salt right on top of that bread flour. And then we're ready to mix it up. Now, this is not going to require any type of kneading. What we're going to do is just put it in the refrigerator overnight, take it out tomorrow when I'm ready to fix the bread, and we'll show you what to do then. So anyway, I'm just going to mix it all up, just so you get the flour all moistened and wet. Have your little batter. Yeah, this is really, really easy. And I don't think you'd want to use a mixer on this because it's going to be pretty stiff. Now, it is going to rise just a little bit in the refrigerator, but not much. It'll do most of the rising tomorrow. Alright, I think we've got that mixed up enough. Just going to spread it out kind of even there. Get all that off. Alright, so there's our dough. Let me move you in close so you can see it. So we're going to put this in the refrigerator. Now, this will keep in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 days. It's kind of a no-worry type of dough. So what I'm going to do now is cover it over with some saran wrap, and it's going to go in the on the bottom shelf in my refrigerator, and we're going to deal with this dough again tomorrow. All right, y'all, we will see y'all tomorrow. Bye for now. Hey, y'all, well, we're back. It's the next day, and our dough has been in the refrigerator for, I don't know, about 18 hours. I don't know. It's been a while. Anyway, let me show you what it looks like. We're ready to get it prepared now. Move y'all closer. All right, so there's what it looks like. What we're going to do is dump it out on this pan. Now, I'm just using this pan to cut the dough up. So I'm going to put a little flour on it. That's just so it'll come off the pan. And all we're going to do is take this out. And just flatten it out. So we're going to need a little flour on that. I'm going to flatten it out the whole distance. I'm using gloves because I don't want all this stuff under my fingernails. Yeah, it's really cold too. And of course it's hard because there's half a stick of butter in the dough. Just mash it all down. All right, that's about good enough. So we're going to cut it with actually a pizza cutter. But first, I want to go ahead and smear a little butter on this. Now we're going to use all this butter. Hold on just a minute, I've got to get my gloves off. Oh. All right, let's see how we can do this. All right, hold on a minute, let me get situated here. All right, I think we're ready now. Had to take those gloves off, they just didn't work. All right, so this butter now is melted, but it's only slightly warm. So I melted it 30 minutes or so ago and let it sit so it would get at room temperature. Because you don't want to apply any heat and hurt your yeast. All right, that's probably good enough right there. Spreading it out a little bit. All right, and we are going to use the rest of that butter. All right, so now I'm going to put garlic powder on it. I'm going to use some onion powder on it. And I'm going to use some dried parsley flakes on it. Alright, so now I have greased a tube pan, and I did use Crisco, grease it really thoroughly so none of this sticks. Alright, so now we're just going to cut it into little squares just to make this a lot easier rather than picking it up and making it into little balls. I just think it's easier, kind of like the monkey bread, just cut it into squares. Like so. Okay, I'm going to have to get my hands messy. There's no other way to do this. Alright, let's turn this around. And we're going to start putting it in the pan. Get that off my spoon. Alright, so we're just going to pick it up and just lightly dip it in this butter and kind of throw it in the pan. And especially the ones on the bottom. It already smells good, y'all. Just throw them in. Remember, I've already got butter on the top, so all I'm doing is putting some on the bottom of these little squares. And what we're going to do is let this rise in the oven with the oven light on. Now, normally, if it were winter time, I would use my little heating pad and do it like that. But we're in the summertime now, and this will work just fine in the oven. Now we're going to let it double in bulk in the oven. And then once it's doubled in bulk, we'll bring y'all back. I'll let you look at it. All right, let me finish getting this in the pan and I'll show you what it looks like in the pan before it rises. All right, there it is. There's what it looks like. Now hopefully it's going to come up all the way to the top of this pan once it gets finished rising. And also all that butter in between them is going to make it easy to pull it apart. All right, so we're going to let it rise probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half in the oven with the light on. Not the burners on the oven on, but just the light in the oven. All right, y'all, we'll be back when this gets ready to be baked. All right, there's the bread. It didn't rise up quite as much as I wish it had. But anyway, it's been about an hour and a half. I've got my oven on 375, and I'm not going to take it out. I'm going to let it just the oven gradually warm up to temperature, and then we're going to cook it for maybe 20 minutes or so and see what it looks like then. All right, we'll be back. All right, the bread is done, and I'm not sure how well it's going to come apart, but I've already tasted a little corner of it. It's really good. It's still very hot. I just took it out of the oven. And by the way, it actually stayed in the oven for 30 minutes. So you just can count the first 10 minutes is the oven warming up, then cook it for an additional 20 at 375. All right, let's have a look at it. There it is. Looks kind of like a cake, doesn't it? So I've already pulled a little piece off of it. So let's see if I can get a chunk out of it. It's very, very buttery and garlicky. There we go. There's what it looks like. It is very hot. I'll pull Mr. Bucky some off too. He's watching the news in there. So you do have to kind of stick your fork in there and pull it out. Very, very much butter in this. All right, I'm gonna see if this thing is cooled enough. I've already tasted of it. It is really good. But we'll taste of it on camera for y'all. Here it is. It's really good, y'all. I don't know if you'd want to tweak this recipe or not, but I would say maybe add a little more flour instead of the 4.5 cups. I'm going to do the recipe and say add 5 cups. That ought to do it. All right. But I mean, it tastes really, really good, y'all. Really good. Crispy on the outside and very buttery. A lot of garlic taste. A lot of the onion in there. I don't taste the parsley. Of course, you could put whatever spices you like in it, but I would definitely say I'm going to do the recipe to add that other, just a 1/2 cup of flour more. I think the recipe, I took it from the recipe for monkey bread, and I kind of made up that recipe. So this is a made-up recipe too. So made-up recipes can always be tweaked. They can. So anyway, I'm going to make it 5 cups of bread flour. It's very buttery. I love butter. I just love butter. So anyway, we will see y'all next time. I'm going to get Mr. Bucky's piece in there to him. We'll see y'all next time. Bye for now.